Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock, and welcome back to Stretford Paddock if you were in the last video that didn't work because the internet was rubbish and not working properly. But hopefully, I'm streaming through a different platform now, so it should be working better. We're not going to get the graphics at the bottom, unfortunately, but it's a slightly more secure, slightly less processor and internet strenuous process to do it this way. But we are here for the news this morning. Hello, Josh Brown. This news today, we've got a couple of big bits of news, actually. The first one, as we sort of started to talk about before, is about Erling Haaland and United's interest and rejuvenated interest in Erling Haaland. And it's coming out of a few different sources. Again, thank you very much for coming back and joining me. It's coming out of a few different sources, this one. The Daily Mail, the Metro, the Express, pretty much all of those, again, kind of, second tier-ish kind of newspapers. Where sometimes they get it right, but you got to take it with a little pinch of salt. Great point, Oliver. I'm going to come on to that in a moment. So very good. But this is the news, like I said, coming out of the Daily Mail. And I will say, I've said it once and I'll say it again. Their website is an advertising disaster. So many ads that go when you scroll down, it just covers up all of the article. So don't you go on their website. I'll go on their website and I'll do the best. I'll fight through the quagmire that is dailymail.co.uk and bring you all of the interesting stuff anyway, so there's no point. But this, like I said, is interesting, and this is Manchester United will rival Real Madrid in pursuit of Borussia Dortmund starlet, great word, Erling Haaland, with both clubs keen to activate the striker's £63 million release clause. Manchester United are interested in signing Dortmund star Erling Haaland, the Norwegian prodigy. Where was the original prodigy from? Were they English? I don't know, they're a good band now. Is one of the hottest strikers in world football. The Real Madrid are also keeping tabs on Haaland, who has a £63 million release clause. I said it in the last video, but obviously most of you wouldn't have seen that because that's been deleted because it was a disaster. A lag fest, if you will. This article is filled with so many newspaper cliches, newspaper sort of phrases, turns of phrase that you would never, ever hear in real life. We've already had one. Prodigy, keeping tabs on, scintillating form. Manchester United would rival Real Madrid in any future transfer tussle. There's another one for Borussia Dortmund. According to reports, the Norwegian prodigy said it again. Joined the Bundesliga giants in the January transfer window, and his prolific form in front of goal has bolstered his reputation as one of Europe's leading marksmen. United manager Ole Solskjaer held talks with Haaland in the winter, but Old Trafford Chiefs cooled their interest, maybe the best one, due to the insistence of the players' representatives to include a release clause in his contract. That is 8 newspaper and media cliches / overused phrases / just phrases generally in the first 3 paragraphs there. 8 newspaper. It's such a newspaper article, this. I can't remember what it said now. I was too busy looking out for that. But ESPN claim that United are still interested in pursuing a deal for Haaland when the time comes for him to leave Dortmund. They will, however, face stiff opposition. There's another one from Real Madrid, who are looking for a long-term replacement for the aging Karim Benzema, also known as the F1 car, as far as he's concerned. The Spanish Giants have struggled for goals this season, etc., etc. But what is clear is that United are still interested in Erling Haaland. We knew that we were interested in him in the summer, in the summer and then again in January. But obviously, he chose to go to Dortmund. Some of that based off of the advice of Mino Raiola, his agent or manager, or some people were saying that his dad's his agent, but Raiola just offers advice. He's just an advisor. Like, you're still paying him. You're still paying him to make you get better moves and to do. It seems like he's gone like, here's the 5-year plan. We'll go to Dortmund now because your release clause is too low for you to go to a big club because we're not going to make enough money. A club that you're going to stay at for 5 or 6 years. So we'll go to Dortmund, who are a big club, of course, but they're not a worldwide galactic club where you're going to be getting 300 grand a week. So we'll go to Dortmund for a couple of years, arguably the best club in the world at buying in youngsters and turning them into superstars. I don't necessarily think their academy. I mean, I'm sure they've got an excellent academy, but what they specialise in really, as we've seen, in recent years, it's we don't even have to look too far back. The likes of Shinji Kagawa, Mkhitaryan, Dembele, who's gone to Barcelona, Sancho is another one, Haaland is another one. they bring in these players at sort of 17, 18 years old, usually on cheap deals or on a free even, and then they play them in the first team, score loads of goals, play exciting football, because Dortmund always do. Usually don't win a hell of a lot, which I keep saying. I feel bad a bit, but that's their model, and then sell them for an extra bit of money, or sell them for huge money generally. So it seems as though Raiola has said to Haaland, go to Dortmund for a couple of years. Your buyout clause is too low now, but we'll put another buyout clause in, a sort of tantalising 63 million, where that's kind of like, you don't even have to be world class to be worth 63 million anymore. You just have to be pretty good and have some potential, and you're worth 63 million quid. And then we'll go get you onto a bigger club. But here's the interesting thing, and again, Oliver Edwards, I'd like to give you a bit of credit for noticing this. Not that it's particularly super sleuth type detective work from either of us, but this is now the second Mino Raiola client in 2 days who is being touted around Europe. We saw it with De Ligt yesterday, and we're seeing it with Erling Haaland today. Now, that's either one of two things. That is either the fact that Raiola, as he likes to do, he puts this sort of air of unsettled kind of feeling in his players. He lets teams around Europe know that his players are for sale all the time, because he just wants to make that money on the sales. He wants to get his players in the newspapers. He wants to be as famous and as wealthy as he possibly can be, and he wants that for his players as well. So either he's thought, no football, is there? It's all a bit quarantined at the minute. What I'll do is I'll make it look like two of my biggest clients, who are probably worth somewhere in the region of 150 million quid between them, in De Ligt and Haaland, I'm going to sort of go around Europe and put them in the shop window a little bit and try to sell them to Manchester United, to Real Madrid, all these sorts of players. At least keep them in the news, so that, the shirt sales stay up, they're getting a few more retweets on their tweets because people are going on their profiles, all this sort of thing. Keeping these players relevant and exciting and in the media and all that sort of thing. That's option one. And it's a very viable option. It's a very possible option, because that's what Mino Raiola is like. He loves to sort of show his players off around Europe. He loves to sort of always be on the next deal. He's always on the next thing. He's always got the sort of 5-year plan in his head. Or the second option, which isn't much better, is because everyone knows that that's what Raiola does, then the newspapers can write articles like this, because it's taking advantage of his history in trying to sell his players all the time, and our ignorance, not necessarily ignorance, but willingness to read transfer stories and willingness to believe that Raiola is always trying to sell his players, because he has established this reputation for himself as someone who will sell any person at any time to anyone if the money is right. So it doesn't really matter which one the truth is, because it's the same thing that we see with Paul Pogba. Because Raiola is his agent, and I know Raiola does come out and say, I want to sell him here, and he might not be happy here. He does do the concrete evidence stuff as well. But even times when he doesn't come out and say stuff, those rumours are always there about Paul Pogba, because you always think that Raiola is trying to sell his clients all the time. And that is a terrible reputation to have in terms of how the fans view not just Raiola, but the players he represents. I was talking about this yesterday a little bit with De Ligt. I think at some point, this idea that, why would we sign a Raiola player? He's just going to leave in two years. And even if he doesn't leave, there will be articles like this that are sort of shop windowing him to all of Europe, either because Raiola wants to sell him, or because newspapers know that we believe he wants to sell people. And again, one isn't any better than the other, because what it does is Dortmund fans thinking, Haaland's probably going to leave, let's not get too attached. Everyone's sat there, United fans getting excited, but also you sort of start to not believe anything that comes out about any client of Raiola's. It's just he's forming this sort of toxic little pool of players and of media interest that never goes away because of what he is like. Anyway, the rumours are also because United aren't competing, so Pogba would have to leave for his career. Well, that's part of it as well. But I don't think that that's the case with De Ligt at Juventus. They've won the league 8 years in a row, I think, in Italy. They're not. You can't accuse them of not competing, and yet there are still rumours that a 20-year-old lad who joined them in the summer is set to leave, or is United's first choice target when it comes to centre backs and stuff. I just think it's a Raiola thing, and like I said, even if he isn't putting these rumours out himself, newspapers are capitalising on the fact that we will believe them because it's him. Someone says, "Can we just keep Ighalo?" Yeah, I hope so. I think we definitely will this season. They there could be an agreement with Mino Raiola that he will bring us a player if we get rid of Pogba. Maybe. I'm not sure. Oliver also said the last stream proves why Cam needs the sack. Couldn't agree more. He's not even here, but he could have done more to prevent the last stream crashing. Also, this is a good time to mention that we are currently, and we have just this, I think today, opened up memberships on Stretford Paddock. We've got 3-tiered memberships, and you can check them out on YouTube. Press the little join button, it'll tell you about all those memberships. Loads of exclusive stuff, loads of exclusive videos. And on that top membership, there's like an exclusive little loot box each month, giving you merch, giving you all sorts of stuff, behind the scenes footage, literally loads of stuff, extra stuff to get. So if you don't subscribe, you're not going to be losing out on anything. But if you want extra stuff, extra content, getting shout outs, getting to play video games with us, getting behind the scenes videos, getting all that kind of fun stuff, that would be a massive help to the channel, especially at the moment. Obviously, things are very difficult, but it's not just a charity play. We are actually giving away loads of stuff with it. So check them out. And if you're interested, it would be a huge help. And you get little fun icons in the chat so that when you chat, everyone knows that you're a little member. And that is pretty cool. And that is D Scanlon81, who has become a member today. So thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. It means a lot to all of us. And we're going to be putting out a little video soon. So if you don't know exactly what the memberships entail, we'll be showing you. So thank you very much for joining, Mr. Scanlon. Very much helps the channel. Someone says, if I join as a member, can you guarantee a Garlos days? Yes. Yes, I can. Oliver says, can't. Would if I could? Yeah, he's 14. Yeah, the guy hasn't got a credit card, and we do not take cash payments for the memberships. Maybe Raiola has been furloughed, so he's looking to make some money. Yeah, and also 80%, but it's only 80% up to a maximum of £2,500 a month. And there's no way he's earning less than that, is there? Right, onto our second story, because this is a pretty good one as well. This one is a little bit more, what should we say, logistical. A little bit, we're looking at the Premier League as a whole. Ooh, exciting. And this one is coming from Sky News, not even Sky Sports. That's how you know it's interesting. That's how you know this is worldwide interest in this sorts of stuff. So this is from Sky Sports News, like I said, or Sky News, should I say. And we are looking at the Premier League clubs have been told to cut their players' salaries before seeking taxpayers' cash to pay non-playing staff during the hashtag coronavirus crisis. Like I said, Sky News coming out with this one. And this is MPs, British MPs. I know you're not all from England. MP stands for Member of Parliament, if you aren't aware. I'm sure most of you are, but again, if you're not from England, you might not know that. Premier League football clubs have been told to cut their players' salaries before seeking taxpayers' cash to pay non-playing staff during the coronavirus. Tottenham Hotspur prompted anger on Tuesday when they announced they would be applying for a government scheme in order to use public funds to pay 80% of the wages of off-pitch employees. And I think so far United have said that they will pay their non-playing staff, as far as I'm aware, because there's a lad at the office who does some work for United on match days and that kind of thing. And I think, as far as I'm aware, United have said that they will pay their non-match their match day staff their full wages. But if they don't, I will be also willing to say that it's an absolute disgrace. As it is with Tottenham at the moment, and if United do the same, I won't. It's not going to be. Well, it's actually it's all right because it's United. If you're a Premier League club and you have got the money that Premier League clubs have, 400, 500 million in revenue in a season. I know not all of that's profit, but if you aren't giving back to your employees and that kind of thing, and you're letting the government bail your workers out when you're one of literally some of the richest companies in the country, that is an absolute disgrace. The government job retention scheme pays employees unable to work due to the COVID-19 outbreak 80% of their monthly salary, up to a maximum of £2,500, like I said before. The Premier League club is currently suspended, as if we don't know. Tottenham Hotspur Daniel Levy said he would reduce remuneration of all 550 non-playing directors and employees for April and May by 20%, utilising where appropriate the government's furlough scheme. Here's another thing. What you could have done, actually, I don't know how this works in terms of bonuses and taxes and stuff, but this is just my thought on an initial way to do it. At the very worst, you pay them the extra 20% out of your own pocket to top it up, give them a bonus or some way of paying people that extra bit of money or something, or at least offer bonuses when they come back. Harry Kane's on 200 grand a week. Hugo Lloris is on 100 grand a week. The action was announced on the same day it was revealed. Mr. Levy earned a £3 million bonus last year as part of his £7 million earnings for delivering the new stadium. Bahamas-based businessman Joe Lewis, thought to be worth more than $4 billion, holds a controlling stake in Tottenham. That is, I mean, absolutely disgusting, isn't it? Really, let's be honest, that is disgusting. I just think the idea, I don't think even Stevenage are taking the money and they're bottom of League Two. That is very much a rumour and conjecture, but yeah. I think this is just absolutely awful that if you're doing that, if you're a big company like that, I think small businesses, local businesses, I think people, the sorts of businesses that have never had the profits to sort of even, hold any money for a rainy day, even at the best, even if they wanted to, I think that's one thing. But these companies that are this size, and hate to make this too serious because, I like to have a laugh, but if you're a company the size of Tottenham Hotspur or any Premier League club, and you're not paying your staff because it's 500, 500 people, probably most of them on minimum wage, and you can't pay them during this for maybe 4 or 5 months. Utterly disgusting, I would say. Anyway, I hope United players take a wage cut. Marcus definitely will. And also, I think something to talk about with the wage cut, whilst of course they're on so much money and they could take a wage cut, a lot of footballers do use a significant, maybe not necessarily significant, but certainly a portion of their wages for their charitable endeavours. We've seen Marcus Rashford, of course, recently doing loads of stuff for charity, as he always has. I think he stepped it up during this, but a lot of footballers do a hell of a lot for charity and dedicate a hell of a lot of their time for charity. So I think it's almost, yes, they could take it out of their own money, but I think the clubs themselves pay the footballers what you said they'd pay them, and pay the rest of your staff what you said you'd pay them as well. Because it's not like the players are going, oh, they're on £2,500 a month now as well. You're not furloughing the players. So when you need the money, and that is the real big money, you can find it then, can't you? So find it for everyone else as well. Anyway, any big businessman should be forced to put their hand in their pocket in these times, and banks. Yeah, I agree. If the money is there, if these companies have the money, and football clubs clearly do, there is no excuse whatsoever. In most countries, if a business had to furlough their staff, they pay 20% of the wages and the government paid 80%, so the staff don't lose wages. I think that's one way around it. It's still slightly annoying that you have to put this on the government and therefore the taxpayer, because not that, this is the kind of sort of thing I personally quite like. I like that we can bail people out. I like that all this sort of stuff, paying people 80%, is a brilliant scheme and it's a great thing to do. But when you're the size of Tottenham Hotspur or any Premier League club, and again, if Man United do the same thing, I'll say the same about them. No excuse at all. Absolutely not. Anyway, that's going to be roughly all for me today. We're going to be back later on for a podcast. It's going to be a fun one. We should have Adam McCullough from Full Time Devils. We should have Stephen Howson and a few other people as well. So it's going to be a very fun podcast. Again, if you are interested, please do get involved in the memberships. Just click the join button. Check out the different what they're called, tiers. There's loads of different stuff in each one, loads of fun stuff in all of them. So whatever you fancy, please get involved with that. It would help us out massively. And again, it's nothing less for any of you who don't, but it's loads of fun, extra stuff for those of you who do. I'm going to try and line this up so I can play the outro, because like I said, we're on a slightly different platform here. So thank you very much for joining me. And if this works, see you next time.